We continue our series focusing on Jewish American war veterans in anticipation of this evening's documentary here on WGBY, GI Jews, Jewish Americans in World War II. Tonight, we introduce you to South Hadley resident and veteran James Eisenstock. Eisenstock was a navigator flying in a B-24 Liberator in the U.S. Air Force during the Second World War. He was stationed in Italy, and in 1944, he and his crew flew 26 missions. He shared some of his experiences with Connecting Point's Dave Fraser, including how he was awarded the Distinguished Flying Cross.
Support for GI Jews, Jewish Americans in World War II, is provided by a grant from the Corporation for Public Broadcasting and the Harold Grinspoon Foundation.
On my 21st birthday, I took an examination at Westover Air Force Base to a group of 350 possible candidates for the United States Army Air Corps. I always had a very deep interest in flying and aviation. There were to be 80 selected to continue on. I was number 80. I became a navigator, second lieutenant. As a navigator, I had the power to tell the pilot to change direction, to change course. It was standard operating procedure that the nose of the B-24 airplanes and most of the B-17s also had something written on them. Ours was called the Southern Gal. It weighed 77,000 pounds with the bomb load and the 10 men and the ammunition, including the box lunch. On the nose of the Southern Gal, my airplane, you saw these 1-inch squares or 2-inch squares of aluminum over the camouflage. Those were bullet holes or anti-aircraft holes. The makeup of the mission: you go to briefing at 4 o'clock in the morning. The mission was behind a large piece of cloth over a sheet of plywood, 4x8 sheet of plywood. And the mission itself consisted of a line from Pantanella with a piece of red string all the way up to the target. One guy always wore his cap at an angle. Another guy wore a brassiere over his flying suit. And there were that kind of thing, superstitious, obviously. We had anywhere from 8 to 12 minutes to fly from the initial point through the bombing and make the turn to get off that target and start home. In my particular case, it was a navigator's position to stand between pilot and the co-pilot on the flight deck and observe what was going on outside of his airplane. I showed you the piece of flak that came through the windshield on one mission, and it bounced off my flak suit and knocked me right down into the bomb bay. On my port side, on my left side, there was a B-24 in flames, slicing through the air. And Harvey, who was crouched over the yoke, I screamed at him. Although we were an automatic pilot, he woke up, he grabbed the yoke. Billy Mitchell also grabbed the yoke. They pulled the airplane up. And that fired B-24 sliced under us. And his empennage, his tail, scratched the bottom of our airplane. I sweated, and we all sweated on that particular situation. Unknowingly to me, after the war, I found out he had put me in for the Distinguished Flying Cross. And that's when I earned it.